hit play, and let's see how that works. Yay! As far as we know, it turned black, but as far as we know, it's going to the next scene. There is nothing on the next scene. So, but let's go ahead and add something now. Okay, so now I'm on the next scene, the game. I'm going to go over to the media, and I'm going to find the background image, which I know that I want to put there, and that is going to be the moon back. I'm going to go ahead and click and drag that over, and line that up the way I know it needs to go. Okay, and then we'll go, that's all good. Now you notice I didn't know, when I dragged it over, it automatically converted it to be an actor. That's kind of handy. I'll go ahead and double click on that, and I'm going to name that moon. And it's going to be front, actually, or moon back, actually. Now, that's fine. Now we're going to go ahead and start creating our first character, which is going to be a monster. All right, so I shall go over to, I am actually at my actors, so I'm just going to go ahead and hit the plus, and this new actor is going to be called Monster, and I'm going to call it Monster Orange. Very good. Now, this creating the monster is pretty a very pretty complex set of behaviors, coding that's going to go behind the scenes on this. Now, I'm just going to kind of take you through it step by step. It may not make exactly sense why we're doing it this way, but as you use GameSalad more and more and refer to the manual for some of the detailed information, then it will start to make sense. So the monster, as you saw in the short demo at the beginning of this tutorial, disappears and reappears and randomly pops up again. So he's actually going to start, he's not going to have a monster graphic. He's actually going to start with a transparent graphic. So I'm going to go to the actor here where I can see the parameters of the actor, and I'll go over to the media, and I'm going to scroll down and find the transparent. I'm going to use this one right here. It's smaller, and that's the only, I only need a small one. You see the dimensions right here. So drag that on there like that. Okay. So the first thing I want to do is I want it to animate. So I'm going to click right here, and this time I'm just going to hit Shift A to go to the behaviors that start with animate, or A, and I'm going to choose animate. This is my field is open here. It's the same one that we used for the animated start menu background. Go over to, I already am at the media, and let's go ahead and find our monster. Let's use the orange monster, and I want all of these frames. Now, how you create these little animations, these animated sequences, is covered in other lessons that I provide. And as mentioned, I will provide some of it, some handouts, maybe some videos on how to create these graphics in other tutorials. So I added them. That's all good. Let's go ahead and save our file, and let's see how that. Oh, actually, I need to add it to the stage. So go back to the actors, I am there actually, and let's go ahead and drag a monster onto the stage. Now, because the initial graphic is transparent, you're not going to see it. You're just going to see sort of a transparent field. That's fine. All right, so let's see how that looks. Wonderful. Everything's working good so far. Okay, so what we're going to do next is we're going to set up some game attributes which will affect our game and our player. So there's two main components in just about every game, and that is a score and a timer. I'm going to go over to the game tab right down here. Let's see. And I will go to the plus, and I am going to add an integer attribute which refers to numbers, and here I will type in score. I will name it score, and the score is going to start at 0. I'm going to add another attribute, and this is also an integer, and this one is going to be our timer. Now, let's kind of wire that into our game. So we're going to go over to the Actors tab. We're going to add 3 new actors. One is going to be the score graphic. Next is going to be the score, which is actual the number that shows up. And the last one is going to be the timer. And I don't have a graphic for the timer, so that's just fine. Let's start with the score graphic. I click on that, go to the Actor tab, and I can either drag it on here or I can go to the image where it says no image, click on that, and I'm going to choose the graphic which I know is named score. That can actually be an easier way to get graphics. Okay, now the score one, we don't want to have a graphic, but we want it to be invisible. So where it says no image, I'll click there, and I'm going to choose a graphic that I created called transparent. Okay, so right down there. Next, we'll go to the timer, and the timer is also going to be transparent. There we go. And let's see, that's all good. Let's go ahead and go to our game, and we are going to place these actors on here. So the score I'll put over here to the right. The score, where are we? How did, somehow I have score here and there's a graphic behind it. Let me see, did I accidentally bring it? I must have. Alright, so on my score, I actually don't want anything. I'm going to have that be transparent. Yeah, I must have just missed. Okay, so now the score, that score actor will go right on top, and I'm going to scale that down. It will be invisible for a moment. It will show the text. So I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to, before I go any further, let's go ahead and add the timer graphic over here. So the timer is going to go here, and that's all good. So let's make it happen here. So on the timer, I'll click on the timer prototype, and I'm going to have a behavior called display. There we go. And we'll take out what it says there, hello world, and what it's going to do is, what do I have selected? On the timer, it's going to display an attribute, a game attribute, and it's going to display the timer. Whoops, I added 2. And that's good. I want it to be about size 24, and the color needs to be white, otherwise it won't show up on the black background. So far, so good. Let's see what else we want to do here. We also want the game timer to actually count down, like do something. So we're going to add a behavior timer, a timer here, and what it's going to say is every 1 second it's going to change. So that's a change behavior. It's going to change its attribute. It changed to 5. What happened there? There we go. It's going to change attribute. And what it's going to do is the attribute that's going to change is the game timer to the game timer minus 1. So it's a countdown. We're also going to set a rule for this. And the rule is going to say that it's going to count down. And when it counts down to 0, the game is going to be over. So let's go ahead and add a rule. And in the rule, we're going to say that when an attribute, a game attribute, And the game attribute is going to be the game timer. If the game timer equals 0, the scene will change to the next one, which will actually be the end of the game. So that we know that we're going to the game over, let's kind of get going on some graphics for this last one. Alright, so I'm going to go over to the graphics, and I should have a game over graphic, but what I want to first add, go over to the actors, I want to add this background. I think it's nice. I'll just add that just actually to save time, and it looks pretty. And then on it, I am going to put a game over graphic. So I'm going to add an actor, and that actor is going to be game over. Whoops. I'll click on it. I'll click on the no image, and I think we should be able to find it by name is the easiest way. Oops, there it is. Beautiful. And let's drag that onto the screen. Nice. Let's save it, and let's see if we have something working so far. Uh-oh. So it's doing this negative number. Interesting, it's counting up. We have to see what we did wrong here. And there is no score showing up at the moment. First things first. Let's find out what's going on with our game and how it's counting up. Okay, so the timer is starting. Oops, that's the problem. The timer is supposed to be something. So we need it to start at something. So let's have it be, remember, I'm just going to make it like 8 seconds. Normally a game would be like at least 30, but we don't want to wait that long. Okay, so I change that. I'll save that, and let's play again. Yay! Okay, it's counting down, and when it reaches 0, it should go to game over page. Wonderful, and it does. Okay, let's go over the game over. Looks like I need to bring that graphic up at least. Now we're going to go ahead and fix the score. So we'll click on over here to the score. Oh, so we haven't done anything to it yet. Alright, so here I'm also going to have a display behavior. But it's not going to display hello world. It's going to display the score, a game attribute which we've created called score. And there you go. And let's make it smaller. Let's make it 24. Now let's go to our game scene. And there's the score, and we did add the graphic there as well. So I'm going to hit the save button and hit play. And a score of 0 shows up, but it's not connected to anything yet. But everything is working pretty nicely so far. Now we can go back to our character, our monster, and add the behavior that we want to add. I'm going to go ahead and close this one little behavior to make more room on my stage. And I am going to say that I'm going to add a timer. Okay, so I'm going to add a timer, and the timer is going to say that after, and we'll add something called an attribute, a function called random. After a random